We have all seen the guys in the C5 Corvettes cruising around town that look like they just jumped in a time machine from the 2001 filming of The Fast and the Furious. I mean, I'm talking Duraflex body kits, AutoZone hood scoops, and more LED lights from eBay than you can shake a stick at. So in this video, I wanted to go over the top 10 worst modifications that we've seen on C5 Corvettes. And guys, obviously some of these are going to be much worse than others, but we can't let people keep getting away with this shit because I don't want to see any more riced out C5 Corvettes on the street. I'm just tired of it. Especially with the C5 Corvette being a great sports car for the budget, it's really important that we start going over some of these things because now we're seeing a lot of people get their hands on these cars that probably don't have any business owning these cars. And guys, let me tell you, this is gonna hurt some feelings, so put your big girl panties on, suck it up buttercup, and let's get into the video. So the first ricey mod on this list is, of course, the frog eye headlights. There is no faster way to make your C5 Corvette look like it's worth half of what you paid for it than to put these headlights on it. Let me tell you guys, the pop-up headlights rock, and there's almost no reason in the world to get rid of them. And not only are you getting rid of an absolute masterpiece of a headlight design, but you're putting on this cheap eBay garbage onto it, which completely destroys the front end of the car. Plus, because the plastic is so cheap on these headlights, they fade super quick and it makes your car look like you got it from fucking McDonald's. Congratulations, you actually paid money to make your car worth significantly less money. So if you still have the pop-up headlights somewhere in your basement or in your garage, put those babies back on and get rid of those frog eye headlights. Number 2 on this list is taillight louvers and ricey LED brake lights. When it comes to the C5, there's absolutely no shortage of lighting options for your car, especially when it comes to brake lights. There is an absolute plethora out there. But of course, most people still end up going with the cheapest, most crappy looking pair of taillights that you possibly can buy on the internet. And the plastic graded louvers for your taillights are no exception to this. These are super cheap looking, they make your car look tacky, and they serve no purpose whatsoever. And on top of this, they actually make your taillights dimmer, which doesn't really make sense to me. So if you have these on your Corvette, please do me a favor and remove them as soon as possible and find the nearest garbage receptacle to place them in. And just like the frog eye headlights, there are a ton of really terrible options for brake lights out there as well. So especially if you're gonna go with like a clear lens LED or something like that from eBay, it's just gonna make the car look like crap and it's just gonna look super tacky, so stay away from those. Please guys, only use OEM taillights or at least get some high quality like ring lights if you're gonna do something aftermarket. Now next up is number 3, which is the mesh fender vents. Guys, the fenders on these Corvettes are just fine the way they are. You don't need to be stuffing crap in them. And if you think that you're going to be getting some kind of like paint protection or something like that from having these little grates in the fenders, you're not doing anything, trust me. It just looks awful, guys. It looks like you just ran to Home Depot, grabbed some chicken wire, and hot glued it into the fender. Just don't do it. And not only are these things brutally ugly, but it also impedes the airflow in the fenders, so it really actually makes your car less efficient by putting these on. These vents are mostly for styling, but they also help to cool the engine bay by drawing some of that air out of your engine bay. So guys, it's just best not to mess with it. And trust me, they look great just the way they are. Don't add anything in there. And number 4 is, of course, the car bra. The car bra. The mother car bra? Why, God? Why would you be so cruel as to make people think that this is a good idea? Guys, just please don't do it. These things have been around for a while, and whether it's on a Corvette or a Porsche Boxster, these things are the fastest way to make any sports car look like an absolute bitch-mobile. And if I see you out driving around with one of these things on your car, I'm automatically going to give you the big old thumbs down. Plus, it's a dead giveaway that I could absolutely whoop your ass if you have a problem with me. So if you want to protect the paint on your car, the only correct way to do this is to use a clear bra. It's cheap to do, and it looks 10 times better than this car bra baby back shit that you guys are doing. So please, for the love of God, I'm begging you to stop doing this. Now, number 5 is fender stripes. Yeah, back in high school, I used to think these things were cool too. But everyone must grow up at some point. The fender stripes are a Dodge RT thing, so let's just leave it at that. Let's not put these things on other cars, especially not Corvettes, because if I wanted a Dodge, I would just add a couple seconds to my quarter-mile time and I'd make my headers leak. The fender stripes just look tacky. I mean, they're almost as bad as the headlight monster scratches that people put on their cars from Wish.com. Decals have no place on a C5 Corvette, and these fender stripes are no different. Now moving on to number 6 is the fake brake cooling ducts on non-Z06 models. You don't have a Z06. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. Just accept it and move on. Don't buy these cheapo little brake cooling vents and slap them on your FRC or on your base model and think that you got something special, because you don't. If it's not functional, it's automatically ricey and you lose 1,000 respect points. And yeah, well, they look cool on the Z06, but That's because they came on the car and they actually improve braking efficiency. Guys, I have a peasant spec base model and I will gladly admit that. Instead of buying these fake ass vents for $31.79, I'm just going to use that money and put it towards a hog ass cam so that way I can walk the next Z06 that I see. So don't waste your money on these aesthetic only fake performance mods. Be a man. Save that money instead and put it towards some real go fast parts. Number 7, we're finally on to cheap wheels. There's a lot of wheels that look really great on these cars, but there's also a lot of wheels that don't look great on these cars. If it's a set of wheels from Discount Tire that you're getting for a bargain, they're probably not going to look good on the C5. If they're a set of wheels that you just saw on a Honda Civic last week, they're probably not going to look good on the C5. As they say, you got to pay to play. Expensive wheels are expensive for a reason, guys, and if you're going to spend the money, just get the correct offset from the get-go. Nothing looks worse on a Corvette than ill-fitting cheap wheels. Take some pride in the appearance of your car and just spend the money. Because cheap wheels will make your car look like a poverty machine very quickly. And not to mention, these things are dangerous as well because they're obviously not going to be the same build quality as you get from an expensive wheel, and they're much more prone to things like cracking. So as tempting as it is, just don't do it. I hope I don't have to explain this one again after this, but number 8 is brake caliper covers. Please, please, please stop using brake caliper covers. These are the number 1 tackiest mod that you can do to any car, not just the C5. They look like shit and they do nothing besides heat up your brakes faster. This is just like the fake Z06 vents. If it's not benefiting performance, just don't do it. The brake caliper covers do absolutely nothing for your car but make you look like a giant tool. And even if you do trick somebody into believing that you have nice brakes on your car, they're gonna find out pretty quick when you have to explain to them, "Oh no, I don't have nice brakes on my car because I'm a poser, but my wife's boyfriend really likes them." And then you just look like a moron. So take these things off and ship them straight back to Alibaba where you got them. I would quite literally rather flush my money directly down the toilet than buy brake caliper covers. And if I see these things on your car, I am going to bully you relentlessly. Now, number 9 is spoilers, but only some. Now, this is an interesting one because there are quite a few spoilers that can look good on these cars, but it's only a select few. For example, there's some duckbill spoilers that look really good on these cars if they're color matched and they fit correctly, but you have to be really deliberate in which ones you put on these cars, because something that's subtle can add just the right amount of flair. But of course, there are a ton of cheap options out there that fit like shit and look like shit. And of course, a big wing on your C5 Corvette is going to look ricey unless it is a designated track car. And trust me guys, we can all tell when it's a track car versus a daily driver. So don't put a big wang on your C5 Corvette unless you're about that race car life, because we know when you're not. Especially when it's mounted directly to the plastic bumper, that shit just makes me want to cry. So only pick clean and simple spoilers for these cars, guys, because it's super easy to make the C5 Corvette look tacky with a wing, so be careful about what you're choosing. Finally, number 10 is buying cheap seats to replace the OEM ones. Guys, I completely get it. The OEM seats in the C5 Corvette are not the best. But let me tell you, this is a really important one. Do not replace the OEM seats in your C5 Corvette unless you can afford quality seats and quality rails. I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen C5 Corvette owners with cheap, crappy seats in their cars and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just had to replace the OEM seats because they're crap in these cars." Bro, you literally just replaced your OEM seats with $150 eBay seats. And you think that's an upgrade? Absolutely not. The C5 Corvette seats are not premium by any means, but they're still better than that $150 crap that you find on eBay and Amazon. And not only do they look ricey, but they're actually super dangerous. If you get into a wreck with these seats, they're gonna fold you up like a lawn chair. These seats offer almost no safety, and I promise you guys they're gonna do a lot more harm than good. So don't replace your OEM seats unless you're going to go with OEM or better quality seats. Trust me guys, the safety of you and your passenger is not worth risking just to make it look a little cooler. And I really hope that this steers some people away from getting these cheap seats because not only do they look super ricey, but they can get you killed. But there you have it guys, those are the top 10 worst modifications I've seen on the C5 Corvette. But if I missed any, let me know in the comments below because there are plenty out there. I know you guys are gonna have something in the comments for me. I'd love to read it, so let me know what you think. But that's it for this week guys. If you found this video entertaining, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for future content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.